Hi everyone, it's Miss Hartill, your school social worker. And today we're going to be making no-cook Play-Doh. On your choice board, you will see a link that will take you to the recipe for this no-cook Play-Doh. It'll show you a picture of all the ingredients you'll need and steps 1, 2, 3, and 4 to make your very own no-cook Play-Doh at home. I'm going to be keeping this recipe right next to me as I go through each step. I also keep a pen close by because I like to check off each direction as I go. We want to make sure that we're adding just the right amount of ingredients and following the directions very closely. So to begin, I have all of my ingredients here on the table. I have my large mixing bowl, which is in step 1. In step 1, we're going to be adding 2 cups of flour, a half cup of salt, and 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. So here I have my dry measuring spoons, and I'm going to be doing 2 cups of flour first. Now it's very important that you find a space at home as you're doing this that will be clean. You might want to put a tablecloth down. I have a little mat here, and you want to make sure that you always have a parent's permission to make the Play-Doh at home before you begin. This is a great activity to do with a brother or sister or your parents at home as well. So I have 1 cup, and I have 2 cups of flour added into my large mixing bowl. So I'm going to check that off. Next, I'm going to add the half cup of salt. So I'm getting my half cup dry measuring spoon, and I'm going to fill it up halfway. Hopefully I can get it all in there. Yep. Like I said, there might be a little bit of a mess. So we want to go here and we want to add our half cup of salt. I'm going to add a tiny bit more since I made a little bit of a mess over here. As we know, and if you watch my glitter jar video, you'll see sometimes I spill things. And it's okay, as long as I clean it up after. Okay, so let me check off. Our half cup of salt is added, and now 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. I have my spoon and my vegetable oil, and it's okay if we need a little assistance here. I know my vegetable oil is a little heavy, and we could always ask a parent, if they're close by, for help to help pour the vegetable oil in. So we're doing 2 tablespoons. I pour it over the bowl so I don't make a mess. 1 and 2. So now I'm going to check off that I added 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. And now we're going to mix. Great job mixing. Step 1 is done. Now we're going to move on to step number 2. Here we're going to use our small mixing bowl. Our first step says 1 cup of water. So I use my liquid measurer and I go up to 1 cup with water, and I'm going to pour it gently into the bowl. And I'm going to check off again that I did 1 cup of water. Next it says any color food coloring. Today I am in the green zone. I'm feeling happy, calm, proud, and ready to learn as I do this new recipe here with you. So I'm going to be using green food coloring, and I'm going to be adding it into the water. Now this is important that we ask a parent if we're allowed to use food coloring. It's okay to have Play-Doh that doesn't have a color if you do not have any food coloring. And it's important that we don't get this on our clothes or on our hands because it can stain. So I'm going to add about 3 drops. 1, 2, 3. I added 3 drops. I'm checking off adding food coloring. And now it says to mix. Great job mixing your food coloring into the water. And again, if you're not using food coloring, you would just add 1 cup of water. And you don't necessarily have to use this bowl because right now we're moving on to step number 3. And we're going to be pouring this small bowl into the large bowl. So if you're just adding water, you could put that 1 cup of water right into your large bowl. but because I use the green food dye and mixed it in the small bowl, I'm going to pour everything that's in the small bowl, the water and the food dye, into the large bowl. And now we are going to mix the food dye and water into the flour and the salt and the vegetable oil that we already added. And you're going to find that it starts to look like Play-Doh. Continue to mix all of your ingredients together until you find that you have soft, dry feeling Play-Doh. Now, if you find that it's still too sticky or a little too wet, you can always add in a half cup or a full cup of flour to really absorb that water and the oil that we added before in step 1 and step 2. One other little ingredient that I personally am going to add to make this Play-Doh my very own is 2 drops of lavender essential oil. If you don't have essential oil at home, that is totally fine. You don't even need to add color to your Play-Doh. It is totally up to you, whatever makes you feel most happy. So I added my essential oil, and I'm now gonna use my hands to create a ball, and voila. Look at the masterpiece that you've created today. You have your very own no-cook Play-Doh. And this is such a great tool to use when we might be facing some big emotions, as you can squeeze it in your hands, you can mold it and play with it and make it anything that you want. I hope that you enjoyed. Great job.